Welcome to the 6-week yoga challenge with Tamara. This is week 3 of 6. Today we're going to start standing on our mat in mountain pose, lifting our arms up overhead and then bringing them forward, palms to meet. Going back, bending the elbows, lowering the hands by our sides. Just getting a little momentum going. And then we add the bending in the knees when we come down. Hips drawing back, and you might choose to pause here. Interlacing the hands, pressing them forward and then back in, away from you, and then back to the heart, pressing them away above the collarbone and then above the head, and letting the arms lower by our sides. Left arm up, side bend. Right arm up, side bend. Left arm up, side bend. Right arm up. Just awakening or stretching the ribs on each side. Okay, and now both arms rise and circle back, bringing us into a reverse swan dive up, lowering into a half chair pose. So having that squat and then the full lift, rooting to rise. Good. Okay, bringing hands to our hips now. And we'll hold the hand under the left thigh, lifting the foot up off the ground to rotate the ankle. Other side, same. Left hand on the hip, right hand under the thigh, rotating the ankle. Feet come down and we're in mountain pose. Arms rise up, swan dive all the way down to a forward fold, and let your head nod from left to right. Feeling the gentle pull of gravity on the crown of the head, and the hands could be on the ground. Once again, as we step the left foot back and rock back into a half splits pose and forward to a kneeling lunge. So keeping our hands on the ground for support. Hips go back, folding over the leg, lunging forward, knee to bend. All right, stepping forward, forward fold, reverse swan dive up, and lifting into chair pose. Upward salute, chair pose, upward salute, swan dive down. Once again, letting the head nod left to right. Having the hands on the ground, and if not there, they could have been on the hips. And now the right leg launches back, coming to kneeling lunge and splits pose. So moving in between these two postures. You could always tuck a pillow under your right knee if it needed some support. Great. Bringing the left knee back for an extended child's pose. And then we'll rock forward and back from child's pose to kneeling kneeling plank. And then walking the hands in closer to the knees. Now let's tuck our toes under and begin to feel a stretch in the toes. And then tap the feet out, walk the hands forward, arching and rounding our spine. Cat and cow, Chakravakasana. Okay, extended child's pose. Lean in and coming forward for push-up on the knees. Extended child's pose, kneeling plank, kneeling chaturanga dandasana. Balasana, plank, chaturanga dandasana. So just continuing a few times. Finally coming back and inviting the arms to go wide out to the right. Hips go left. Side stretch. Bringing the hands over to the other side. Side stretch. Walking our hands to center, inhaling up onto the knees, arms rise overhead, and then the palms lower to the heart. Good. Coming into a half camel now. So we have the right hand supporting the low back and the hip, and the left hand rising up past the ear. You just reach forward for a tap, and then lift and bend back a little bit. Feeling that bend in the upper back. And then we allow the other hand to come in, open big, hands to heart, extended child's pose. Walking our hands to the left for side bend. And walking the hands to the right for same, but on the other side. And then the hands come to center. Inhaling onto the knees, arms rise from our sides, and the hands lower to the heart. So left hand is now supporting the low back, and the right hand is extended up by the ear, and we're reaching forward for a tap. Inhale, rise, like leaning over a barrel. Kind of a big lifting up and then tipping back. And the hips don't have to go all the way back to the heels here. Left arm rises, and then extended child's pose. And then leaning in and rolling back to downward facing dog, where we begin pedaling our heels and letting the head kind of go from side to side. Now I'm rolling over one foot at a time, bringing the knee down. So left knee coming down, right leg rises with a bent knee, down dog. Rolling over the right toes, left leg rises. So there's a little flow to warm up the feet, strengthen the back. If it feels better to lift a straight leg, you always could do that. And we're walking forward. Reverse swan dive at the front of the mat, hands lift, and then lower down to the heart. Arms lifting up and circling back. Palms meet in front, and then letting the arms rise overhead. So we're going to begin to balance here, lifting left knee up, and the foot comes down. When the arms lower, the knee rises. And you're just kind of establishing balance. You can add here a longer lever, having the leg extend fully, creates more work. And then we're letting the toe touch back. So this is the top side of a lunge pose, and then we allow the whole ball of the foot to connect from lunge to downward facing dog. Plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, rolling back to downward dog. We'll walk the feet up to the front of the mat from forward fold, upward salute, and hands to heart. Okay. Arms rise, letting the hands touch in front. Arms rise again, hands touch in front. Arms rise with the knee rising, Hands lower with the knee to lower. So establishing the balance here on the right side. Just keep in mind, if today's not good for balancing, you can do a lot of this without lifting your leg. And if you want to challenge yourself, you go for these long leg kicks. All right, stepping back, like lunge, lunge, landing in lunge, maintaining the balance, back bend a little, and then stepping back, downward facing dog, flowing forward through plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Lunging the left foot forward and windmilling back to a reverse warrior. Windmilling forward, back leg rises, lowers, and we lift. Swan dive down to forward fold. Left foot goes back, opening to warrior two, and we windmill back to the reverse warrior. Windmill forward to frame, stepping back, downward facing dog. Forward, lower. Lift, upward facing dog, rolling back, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, right foot forward, inhale, rise, and hands to heart. Okay, so we'll settle here into left knee bending, left ankle onto right thigh, coming into balancing pigeon to stretch our external hip rotator. So letting the hips ease back, folding forward, monitoring to make sure everything feels good and that you're getting that stretch in the hip flexor, hip rotator. All right, letting that go. Okay. Coming into that shape on the other side, right ankle onto the left thigh, just above the knee, and we fold forward and then sit back. And rise out, letting the hands lift up from our sides as we bring the hands down to prayer in front of the heart. Just pausing here for a moment. Bringing that prayer up to our third eye and gently letting the thumbs press against the forehead. Breathe. Releasing our hands behind the back, interlacing the hands, and rolling the shoulder blades together and the hands to reach down. If the hands aren't interlacing right now, you can hold a cloth or a strap in between the hands. So guiding the left leg back, landing into warrior one. Ideally, the feet are hip distance apart for good base of support. And then having a humble bow, lifting the hands up away from the back. And then lowering them down as we lift. Keeping in mind, if having your head upside down doesn't feel good, only go halfway down, or don't bring your head upside down at all. That was a warrior three, balancing with the knee to rise and lower. Mountain pose, reset. Arms rise up. Interlace the hands behind the back. Roll the shoulder blades together. Soften the face. Good. Hands are interlaced, and we're guiding now the right leg back, maybe getting some hang time on the way to a warrior one. feeling the chest shine and deciding to hold there, or to have a humble bow, coming forward or all the way forward and over, folding to the inside of the leg. Humble warrior. Arms forward for a warrior 3, standing and lowering the right knee. Tadasana, mountain pose. So here, let's interlace our hands and open the palms over our solar plexus. This is the space above the navel and just around the lower part of the ribs. So we're using this to feel the origination of a twist. We're letting the hip bones remain forward. And when you exhale, moving from the waist. It's a small and powerful move, and we're finished. So lifting the left knee up, stretching back through warrior 3 into warrior 1. Arms are out by our sides. We're tucking the right arm behind the back, and the left arm extends forward. And we've engaged into a water wheel. So this is warrior 1 with a twist. Releasing the right hand, lifting the knee, and coming back to mountain pose. Up comes the right knee, stretching back to warrior 1, and our arms are out to the sides, tucking now the left arm behind the back, and the right arm comes around. And you don't have to go very far to be feeling all the benefits of this pose. The left shoulder stretching. Our spine is rising as it twists. And releasing the left hand forward. Arms rise. The knee comes up and down. And we return to mountain pose. Arms lift. We take opposite elbows overhead and pull gently back, stretching through the shoulders and the arms, and then still holding the elbows, lowering the arms. And then as we lift them, the chin goes down. So don't overdo this. Now we're moving to shoulder circles, just one in each direction. And the arms lower by our side. Bringing our hands to our hips. And here's where we'll finish our week 3 of 6 of the 6-week yoga challenge. I'm Tamara with mindbodynow.com. Thank you for coming. See you next time. Bye-bye.